Her husband died, and his family threw her out with a newborn unbroken. Beginning. The rain drummed steadily against the curved glass of the dome as Alara cradled her newborn son in her trembling arms. Beyond the dome stretched the crimson dunes of Mars, faintly visible through the condensation clinging to the glass. The storm outside was nothing compared to the storm inside her heart. Her husband, Captain Darius Kale, had died only 2 weeks earlier, burned alive in the plasma explosion of the Aurora's spear, the fleet's fastest ship. He had been a hero of the Martian Defense Corps, hailed across the colonies for protecting trade routes from raiders. Yet, when the fleet delivered his remains, nothing remained except a silver capsule of ash and a ceremonial flag. Now Alara found herself standing in the state of the Kale family, one of the most powerful dynasties in the Mars colonies, holding the child she and Darius had dreamed of raising together. Instead of solace, she was met with cold eyes. Lady Vera Kale, Darius's mother, stood tall in her black morning gown, her silver hair pinned with metallic feathers. Her lips, painted a shade too bright, curved into something between disdain and pity. "This union," she said, her voice slicing through the silence, "was a mistake from the start. My son married beneath his station, beneath the bloodline of Kale. Now that he is gone, your presence here dishonors his memory. We will raise the child. You are no longer welcome." Alara's blood froze. "You would take my son from me?" The matriarch's eyes flicked to the squirming bundle in Alara's arms. "The boy carries Kale blood. He belongs to this house. You do not." The others, Darius's brothers and sisters, their spouses, the sneering cousins, all nodded silently, like vultures waiting for a carcass to stop moving. Alara's knees shook, but she held her baby tighter. "I will never give him up." "Then leave," Lady Vera said sharply. "Take your half-breed brat and vanish into the dust. The Kales owe you nothing." The guards opened the great steel doors. Rain sprayed in as the dome shield shifted to allow her exit. With no choice, Alara stepped into the storm, her heart shattering with each step. Her newborn son whimpered softly. She pressed her lips against his tiny forehead and whispered, "I'll protect you, no matter what it takes." And so, in the shadows of Martian night, Alara Kale ceased to exist. Only Alara the outcast remained. Middle, the outlands were no place for a widow with a child. The storms were harsher outside the domes, radiation levels higher, the settlements poorer and lawless. Alara found shelter in a forgotten mining colony where the air recyclers wheezed and the power cells flickered. She traded her skills as a bioengineer for scraps of food and thin blankets to wrap her baby, whom she named Orion, after the constellation Darius had always admired. Life was survival. Orion grew quickly, his dark eyes startlingly intelligent, his small fingers reaching for the stars as though he already understood the universe was his to touch. But the Kale family did not forget. Twice, armed mercenaries appeared at the colony gates, demanding she surrender the boy. Each time, Alara barely escaped into the tunnels carved deep into Martian rock. She lived with the knowledge that one day, the Kales would come again. Yet amid hardship, rumors began to spread. Whispers in the colony spoke of the Eclipsora project, a classified experiment Darius had been involved in before his death. It was said the project dealt with genetic enhancements, blending human DNA with alien nanostructures recovered from Europa's icy oceans. Only a handful of pilots had been selected for the trials. Most had perished, but Alara began to wonder, had Darius been part of it? The answer came the night Orion fell ill. At only 4 months old, his body convulsed in her arms, a glow pulsing beneath the skin like threads of lightning. Alara's terror was matched only by her realization. This wasn't sickness. This was awakening. Her husband had been part of the Eclipser experiments, and enhancements had been passed to their child. Orion wasn't just a baby. He was the first successful hybrid of human and alien nanotech. Panic set in. If the Kales learned of this, they wouldn't just claim Orion. They'd turn him into a weapon. Alara knew she had to run farther than the Outlands. She had to escape Mars entirely. She began working in secret, repairing an abandoned shuttle in the mining hangar. Night after night, she scavenged wires, patched hull breaches, and recalibrated engines with trembling hands while Orion slept in a makeshift cradle nearby. Each time she wanted to give up, she remembered Darius's words. "Stars are meant to be reached. Alara, promise me you'll never stop reaching." But just as she prepared for launch, the Kales arrived. A squadron of armored skimmers thundered across the dunes, their headlights piercing the storm. At their front rode Commander Kale, Darius's elder brother, his face carved from cruelty. His amplified voice echoed across the settlement. "Alara, hand over the child, and you may yet live." The colonists scattered. Alara clutched Orion and sprinted for the hangar, heart hammering like a drum. The Kale soldiers breached the gates, weapons flashing. Alara ducked behind consoles, shielding Orion with her body as sparks rained down. And then in the chaos, something impossible happened. Orion cried out, and the world responded. A shockwave of shimmering energy exploded from his tiny form, hurling the soldiers backward. Metal walls warped as if made of clay. Lights flickered, then blazed with power. Alara stared in awe and horror at her child, who now glowed with a radiance not of this world. The Kale saw it too. Their eyes gleamed with greed. Take him alive. Commander Kale roared, but Alara would not let them. Not now. Not ever. With Orion in her arms, she sprinted to the shuttle, slammed the hatch shut, and ignited the thrusters. The vessel shuddered, engines screaming as it tore free from the hangar, blasting into the storm. Behind her, the Kales fired missiles that streaked through the sky like falling stars. Alara gritted her teeth, yanking the controls. The shuttle lurched, weaving between explosions. One missile clipped the hull, alarms blaring, but the vessel held. Moments later, they broke free of Mars's atmosphere, the red planet shrinking below. Alara let out a sob of relief. We did it, Orion. We're free. But her relief was short-lived. The Kales had starships, and they would not give up so easily. Climax. Alara's shuttle limped across the void, leaking fuel, its systems fried from the chase. She set course for Titan, Saturn's largest moon, where she hoped to find refuge among the scattered rebel enclaves resisting corporate dynasties like the Kales. But on the fourth day, Kale warships appeared on the scanners. The chase began anew. Alara swerved through asteroid belts, each maneuver rattling the shuttle to its core. Orion, now glowing faintly with each breath, seemed aware of the danger. His small hands reached for the controls, as though instinctively drawn to machinery around him. Panels sparked under his touch, systems coming alive in ways Alara couldn't explain. The Kales closed in, their weapons primed. Tears blurred Alara's vision. I won't let them have you. I won't. And then Orion acted. A surge of energy rippled from his body, merging with the shuttle. The failing engines roared back to life, brighter than ever. The vessel accelerated beyond its limits, streaking through space at speeds no human ship could achieve. Stars blurred into rivers of light. The Kale ships fell behind, their weapons useless against a vessel now fused with Orion's power. When the acceleration finally eased, Alara realized where they had arrived, an uncharted region near the Oort cloud, where strange signals had been detected for decades but never explored. Before her stretched a luminous rift, a tear in space itself, shimmering like liquid crystal. The shuttle systems translated Orion's babbles into coherent data streams. It was as if the child himself was communicating with the rift. Alara's breath caught. Darius, what did you give our son? With no other choice, she guided the shuttle into the rift, ending. On the other side, there was no space as she knew it. Instead, vast structures of light and geometry floated in a boundless void, alive with color and motion. Alien constructs, ancient and magnificent, pulsed as though aware of their arrival. Alara felt a presence, not hostile, but watchful. Orion cooed softly, his glow resonating with the structures. A voice, not in words, but in pure thought, filled Alara's mind. The child is the bridge, the union of flesh and eternity. Protect him, for he will decide whether humanity ascends or perishes. Tears welled in her eyes as she looked at Orion. He was no longer just her son. He was destiny incarnate. Behind them, the Kale warships burst through the rift, their greed driving them even into the unknown. But as they advanced, the alien constructs responded. Beams of radiant energy lanced outward, shattering the warships like toys. One by one, the Kales were obliterated, their cries swallowed by the void. Only Alara and Orion remained. For the first time since Darius's death, Alara felt hope. She kissed her son's forehead and whispered, "You will never be alone. I'll raise you to be more than what they wanted. You'll choose your own path." The alien construct began to shift, forming corridors of light, guiding them deeper into the unknown. With Orion in her arms and stars yet unseen ahead, Alara piloted the shuttle forward. She had been cast out, stripped of family, hunted across worlds. But here in the heart of the cosmos, she found something greater, a future no dynasty could control. And as the rift closed behind them, Alara vowed one thing. No matter what awaited, she and Orion would face it together, unbroken,